Welcome back, everybody. The city of Austin, Texas joins Seattle, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco as the latest big city to defund its police. City Council unanimously approved a $150 million cut to its police department budget at a time when crime is spiking across the nation, with all the leftists taking to the streets. For more on this, we're joined by Gene Ellis, president of the Texas Police Chiefs Association, also joined by Frederick Frazier, first vice president of the Dallas Police Association, also a member of the President's Commission on Law Enforcement. Gentlemen, thank you very much for the service to the community, and thank you for being here. Gene, we're going to start with you. That city of Austin becomes the latest to defund the police. I know you can't talk about specifics, but what's your reaction and what message does this send to police officers in that city?
Well, funding of police departments, any mention of defunding, most police departments are underfunded and do not have enough staff. So any discussion about taking funds away certainly is disturbing, since the majority of police budgets, about 85% of most police budgets, are personnel, which means you're going to have less police on the street at a time when we desperately need more.
Yeah, Frederick, we're seeing this trend all across the country where you have the increased threats on the streets. You see the looting, you see the arson, you see the beatings, you see the killings, and then the Democrats say, time to cut the police. Something isn't jiving here.
Yeah, it's not driving. It's actually lunatic. I mean, these are lunatics running our city council. I want to tell you some numbers that I just got from Austin, because I just came from there. So we're at there's 1 million people that live in Austin, right? 1 million people. We have Tesla moving there. We have all these businesses moving there. Don't move there. Do not move to Austin. In fact, leave Austin as fast as you can, because they're down 200 police officers. They have 1,650 police officers right now to defend a million people, all right? They just canceled their academy class just canceled it. It was 61% minority in that class. It's gone. They're going back to the 2012 staffing levels. They're taking all the motors. So that means you speed as much as you want in Austin, because there's nobody going to pull you over. And these are lunatics running the council. Homicide rate is up 65% in June, 23 murders. But they're defunding the police. All they're doing is making the lunatics run the streets and the lunatics run the city council. So I can go over these numbers all day long. I just got off the phone with them. I've just left there. The folks that are listening that live in Austin, do something. Do something about this. The only people you have defending you are 1,650 police officers.
Okay, I want to ask you both this question. I want you both to weigh in. Gene, we're going to start with you. I talked about this on the radio show on WBAP and on KSEV earlier today. And I asked this question: what police officer would lay his or her life on the line to protect a city council like Austin City Council that voted to defund protection for everyday citizens? But I'll bet you these leftist lawmakers demand that you folks in uniform protect their sorry behinds. Gene, has anybody that you've been in contact with, officers, saying, I don't want to lay my life on the line for individuals such as these reprobates who are running the Austin City Council? Have you received anything like that?
Absolutely not. Police officers all across this country, and especially here in Texas, serve with honor. It's a noble profession. And regardless of what anybody thinks of them or comments somebody may have made, I guarantee you there is not a police officer out there that would not step up to help any person, whether they be a council member or any other person that might have opposed them. They're going to step up there. And you think about the times that a bad guy shoots at a police officer. As soon as that incident is over, even after he's thrown bullets at him and that officer's had to use deadly force in return, those officers immediately go into a role of first aid caretaking of that person. So that's the American police officer. They're going to step up regardless and serve no matter what with high honor.
It is the nobility of the thin blue line. And Frederick, I'm sitting here as a citizen wondering why these individuals up in the city council of Austin or any one of these left-wing cities can vote to make the public less safe, but they seem relatively secure that they're going to be made safe. It sends a really bad message, if not to the police officers, at least to the voters. Am I wrong?
You're totally right. I mean, it sends a horrible message. think about the property tax, the sales tax, everything that goes on in Austin. What makes Austin drive its economy? Dell Computers, all the things that make that Austin survives on. It takes police officers. It takes us to keep it safe. If you want to walk down Congress, it takes us to keep it safe. You want to drive on the roadways, it takes us to keep you safe. You want to build a new project in an area that's dilapidated, that needs help, it's tired, it takes police officers. We got to clean it up. You can't do it without us. So these morons running the city council here, and I'm a city councilman here in my own town, and I've got morons on my city council. And I don't understand how they don't understand that the only way government works is to keep the public safe. And so when these people make these votes and these cuts and they have these decisions, why isn't somebody else that's standing behind them to help them get into that position saying, what are you doing to our city? What are you doing to our state? What are you doing to our country? You're devastating our livelihoods here. No one is going to want to come here when we have crime crawling at this rate. And it's not like going up a little bit. It's going up completely. It's going like Millennium Falcon speed. We can't control this. We worked 18 murders this week in Dallas, 18. And these guys are having the same thing in Austin, and they only have 1,650 cops. And now, not only they're defunding them, taking their money, where they're cutting their academy class, they're taking everyone else out of the special units and telling them they got to go back to patrol. Well, where do you think the crime gets picked up at? Those special units. The patrol is busy enough with the 911 calls. And I'll yield my time.
Okay, Gene, I want about 30 seconds from each of you on this one, okay? You've got these police officers who are all over the country and police departments all over the country who are retiring because these left-wing politicians are scapegoating the problems that are happening in these communities. They're blaming police officers, and I believe they are wrongly blaming police officers. Gene, how many people have you experienced who are retiring saying, look, I can't do this job anymore because every single time I have to stop a suspect or I'm forced to respond with force, I'm going to have some city councilman or some left-winger sticking a knife in my back. How many stories have you heard about that?
Well, I'll say that I've heard more people talking that are eligible about retirement, or at least looking at it, probably more so over the last couple of months than any other time in recent memory. But, you know, at the same time, the majority of our communities across this country, and especially in Texas, are supporting law enforcement, supporting their police departments. And I know in my community that the more criticism that's on the national level, the more the community shows their love for their police department. I know that's true all across the country. You know, some of the things happening in some of our largest cities, the best policing is occurring in our suburban, mid-sized and smaller agencies across this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Frederick, about these politicians scapegoating the police, a lot of people out there showing their love and devotion for the police, but they're not blaming police who say, you know what, I'm just not going to put my life on the line to have it undermined by some charlatan in government.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. The younger generation officer that's coming on now, that's got like 5-7 years, and this is impacting them more than ever. They're like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if my family can do this. I'll give you an example. We've had several officers where they've protested in front of their houses. They found their homes. They've gone there. They've stood outside, 30 or 40 of them, telling them that they're, you know, the pig face, when your children should be shot. And so that weighs when you hear that one story and it's true, you hear another story and you're like, holy cow, these are happening. Officers just don't want to be officers anymore. Why would they?
Yeah. Gene, Frederick, gentlemen, appreciate your devotion to keeping us safe, the thin blue line. You have our love and devotion. I think, Gene, you said it best. The majority of Americans are with you, not with these Democrats. Thank you very much. One last note to the nation's police officers from us here on the Chris Salcedo Show. Democrat politicians, they're not worth it. Coming up, government's cracking down on health and wellness. Gym owners are being singled out across the country. We'll speak to two of them. It's Chris Salcedo Show here on Newsmax TV.